Good evening, everyone. I'm going to do a quick update for the 21st of July. I'm only doing it right now because I don't know if I'm going to get to it tomorrow, and I don't want to go that long without just a quick update of what's going on in Ukraine. I got a lot going on. We have multiple VIPs visiting from DC to our office at the VA because we're running a pilot project that is of national interest. And then also, I'm kind of in the middle of taking over a division chief job. At least temporarily and if not permanently. So I'm kind of all over the place right now. But anyways, just got done working out. So I don't know if you can see my sweat shadow. I'm not just a bum here. Well, I kind of am. But let's get after it. The Institute for the Study of War has said that the Russian operational tempo in Ukraine resembles their pre-operational pause offensive. This means that they've slowed way down. The Canadian and UK Ministries of Defense have also said Russia lacks the capability to take significant ground going forward and will require yet another long-term operational pause. The US CIA has said that they may lack forces and equipment to make gains over the next few months, and such a pause will likely allow for a strong Ukrainian counteroffensive that Russia may struggle to beat back. But as we've seen in Ukraine, a defense is easier to maintain than an offense. So if Ukraine goes on the offensive, you can see Russia inflicting more casualties on Ukraine because they would be dug in the defense. That's assuming they take a defensive position, but their tactics have been so lacking that I'm not sure that their defensive positions will be any better than what they've shown offensively. So we'll see there what's going on. Part of that intelligence includes the fact that Russia is likely below 50% in its artillery ammunition. This is coming from General Hodges, who was actually, when I was in Europe, he was the EUCOM commanding general, and or maybe it was U.S. Army Europe. Either one. He was the commanding general while I was there, and very smart individual when it comes to European military operations. And he's saying that it's looking like the Russian military is below 50% in their artillery ammunition and their rockets, and they don't have the capability to replenish rapidly. Meanwhile, Western shipments of equipment, missiles, rockets, artillery continue to flow in at a fairly steady state. And there's still a good chunk of that appropriation that the United States had set aside for Ukraine left going to them. So we can expect that more HIMARS, more rockets, more 777 ammunition, and the like will be going into Ukraine. And Ukraine probably might be able to get some counteroffensives going in the near future. The U.S. Department of State welcomed on Thursday a UN brokered agreement. It was brokered in principle for Ukrainian grain exports to begin out of the Black Sea. And the U.S. Department of State said it was focusing on holding Russia accountable for implementing the deal. I don't know how they would hold them accountable. Not entirely sure. A Department of State spokesperson, Ned Price, made that comment during a news briefing after Turkey announced that Ukraine, Russia, and themselves, Turkey, and the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres will sign a deal on Friday to resume Ukraine's Black Sea grain exports. Now, details of that deal should be made available tomorrow after they sign it. Now, Russia has restored critical gas supplies to Europe through Germany via the Nord Stream 1 pipeline after a 10-day maintenance period. This kind of relieved a lot of European fears that Russia may not turn the gas back on. Klaus Mueller, who is the head of Germany's energy regulator, said gas flows were on track to return to 40% of the pipeline's capacity, which was the same as the level before the maintenance work. Now, given the missing 60% of the supply, and obviously the political instability going on with the war, it's not necessarily that we're in the clear here. It's that they can breathe a sigh of relief, apparently, in Europe. Meanwhile, Americans can kind of be frustrated because this means Russia is going to continue to get money, and obviously the Ukrainians are going to be very frustrated. But the gas was turned back on. Hungary has asked Russia to increase by 700 million cubic meters of natural gas its flows into the country. Moscow said it will consider Budapest's request in order to develop strategic ties with Hungary. And I am amazed at how reliant Europe has become on this energy. It's so frustrating as an American watching this take place. I mean, watching as the U.S. tries to assist Ukraine And we know our European partners want to assist, but damn, they're undermining every fucking step of the way. It's so frustrating. And that's what Putin knows. He knows that that's what he's banking on, is the U.S. is going to get so frustrated with Europe's reliance on Russia that they're just going to throw their hands up and be like, fuck it, you deal with it. They're not a strategic threat to the United States. You guys dug your own grave, now lie in it. I'm hoping it doesn't get to that, but if it does, Europe can't look at America and go, we blame you. I mean, there's no way that this is sustainable to have America funding essentially the majority of Ukraine's war while watching Europe fund Russia's part of it through their energy purchases. Meanwhile, Spain, Greece, and Portugal rejected the EU call for 15% cuts in natural gas consumption to help Germany. Spanish energy minister said, contrary to other countries, Spain hasn't been living beyond its means in energy terms. So the bickering within Europe, and this is exactly why I say the Eurozone, is not going to be a powerful currency, because all they fucking do is bicker constantly, cannot make decisions on policy because they all disagree, because they're individual countries. So that's a big portion of why the European Union will never have the broad power and strength of the United States. It just can't agree on anything of large policy matters unless it's an emergency, and even then, it's an uphill climb for them. A major debate erupted on the German internet today after Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock revealed that the government put pressure on Canada to return the Gazprom turbine by saying that Germany would halt its weapons shipments to Canada if it didn't receive the turbine. Again, Canada runs in the U.S. sphere of influence. We don't need Europe. And now Europe is threatening Canada. Canada and the United States go hand in hand. You keep doing shit like this, and we are going to be like, fuck y'all, deal with it. I'm dead ass. I'm serious. It's already starting to happen where people in America may stop caring about Ukraine because Europe can't get its shit together. They did get their shit together somewhat as they adopted a seventh wave of sanctions, which did ban gold imports, had new export controls, freeze some EU assets that were in Russia's Sberbank, and had Sberbank. I don't know if you heard me right there, some of you with dirty minds, as well as had new individual sanctions on some of the Russian people surrounding Putin. They did make exceptions for wheat and fertilizer exports, which I can understand. That's a difficult one to sanction because it has to do with food around the world. And some of you may say, well, what's the difference between food and energy? Well, that food goes to countries that largely rely on the goodwill and sales from countries like Ukraine and Russia, not countries like Germany and Hungary that just didn't fucking prepare for something like this, despite being told over and over again by everyone else that knew better that this was going to happen. The European Union blocked a proposal to sanction Russian metal company VSMPO Avisma on Thursday after France and other member countries objected to fears of a potential retaliatory ban on titanium exports. So again, they won't sanction titanium because they don't want to lose Russia's exports of titanium for their Airbus, specifically their aircraft, is a big portion of that. However, Beirut, Lebanon did reject a Russian ship filled with stolen grain, and Ukrainian or international creditors extended debt repayment deadlines for Ukraine to the end of 2023, which is going to help them financially. The group consisted of Britain, Canada, France, Germany, Japan, and the U.S., so good for them on not holding Ukraine to its debt right now. Obviously, it's difficult for them to repay. And then finally, Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova has said that there has been no contact between them and the U.S. over peace talks in Ukraine. That is because, unlike many of our Western European colleagues, we aren't in this for you just to create a new status quo. This isn't about some kind of get to peace. We want you the fuck out of Ukraine, and we'll bleed you until it's so painful that you come groveling for support like you did in the early 90s. That is the U.S. goal. I don't know how much clearer we can make it. This isn't about trying to find some new level of peace. This is about Russia invaded a country and needs to get the fuck out, because that is not what Russia should be doing right now. We support Ukraine, and if Russia can't figure that out, I don't know what the fuck else to say. But the rest of you have a good evening.